Restored Republic via GCR. Judy note: the Internet we know and use that came out in 1993 was built as a prison, giving the public an illusion of endless information, but information that was filtered and designed to keep us uninformed of what was really going on. 16 years prior, in 1977, ARPA-7 had come out as an Internet that was only available to certain major intelligence agencies, central banks, NATO military command structures and 147 private individuals. ARPA-7 was a ledger of real wealth distribution, medical research never published, classified energy technology patents and complete unedited historical records including wars, assassinations and every single pandemic, all documented by those who planned them. Those deep state criminals who planned and carried out those pandemics, wars, assassinations and other crimes against humanity were about to meet their maker. President Trump has given the green light. He has activated the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, mobilized 300,000 troops, ordered the global military alliance to take over the mainstream fake news media and make mass arrests. Mr. Poole on Telegram, Wednesday 19th of August, 2026. The EBS was set to trigger a 3-day event, followed by 10 days of communication darkness. Pedophile networks tied to suppressed healing tech face mass arrests under martial law. Martial law on Telegram, Wednesday 19th of August, 2026. No official time frame has been given where we will begin isolating at home for 3 to 6 weeks after the global military alliance suspended the media, internet, phones and took over TV and radio to present 8-hour documentaries 24/7 about what was going on while the military took down the Illuminati deep state cabal-controlled governments worldwide and made mass arrests of corrupt global elites. What we thought we knew, but didn't really know and now are supposed to know but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies Hollywood-style and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. The FDA has admitted that they have no idea what's being used in our food. They are talking about the 10,000-plus chemicals allowed into our foods for the last 40 years that have been introduced to the public without safety studies being done by the FDA. The foods were self-approved by Big Food. RFK Jr. has ignited a nationwide firestorm after accusing alleged CIA and DARPA-linked operations of atmospheric chemical spraying. The COVID pandemic was a premeditated deep state conspiracy engineered by Bill Gates, Jeffrey Epstein, Dr. Fauci and the Rothschild family cabal. We have their damning emails as evidence. Crimes against humanity and war crimes on a global level are these. Dr. Brian Ardis: 70% of all autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, fibromyalgia, Sjögren's, MS, etc., are caused by parasites, not your immune system attacking itself. 50% of cancerous tumors and polyps. They're actually parasitic egg sacs being misdiagnosed as cancer. Every single research study showing ivermectin curing cancer and autoimmune disease. It's because ivermectin kills the parasites, not the cancer. They never thought he would win. Hillary Clinton took advantage of a perfect opportunity, not just to frame Trump with Russia collusion because she lost the 2016 election, but to hide her own felony crimes, foreign ties, and email scandal. It always ties back to the same people: the Clintons, Obama, Soros, Brennan, Comey, Democrats, globalists, dirty intelligence agencies, etc. It's time to end this criminal syndicate once and for all. Professor McHenry Ph.D. explained how pharmaceutical companies are allowed to legally lie through marketing campaigns and hide the real facts. Mel Gibson on Telegram, Wednesday 19th of August, 2026. Hydroxychloroquine doesn't just block viruses, according to Dr. Richard Urso, America's Frontline Doctors. Data from a chloroquine study showed it can protect normal cells while allowing viruses to attack cancer cells. The study used Col3 lung adenocarcinoma cells. A cheap, decades-old drug with this selective effect would threaten the multi-trillion-dollar oncology industry overnight. They don't want cures. They want lifetime customers for chemo, radiation, and expensive new drugs. Wednesday 19th of August, 2026. Breaking medical news: the cellular killer, how a tiny honeybee peptide wipes out 100% of aggressive breast cancer cells in 60 minutes. Wednesday 19th of August, 2026. Shocking medical claims: Dr. Brian Ardis says 70% of autoimmune cases he saw were linked to parasites, claims 50% of tumors and polyps he encountered weren't cancer. President Trump has announced that there were no Iran negotiations going on and that the Strait of Hormuz was open. He's refusing to back down. There are no talks or conversations going on, or scheduled, with the Islamic Republic of Iran. The naval blockade remains in full force and effect. The Hormuz Strait is open and operating. All water mines have been removed or detonated. Never gotten over the fact that Obama was able to send $1.7 billion in cash to Iran and nobody in Congress, the FBI or justice called for an investigation. Wednesday, 19th of August, 2026, bombshell announcement. Nick Shirley announces Clinton body bags investigation. Seth Rich and Vince Foster come first. Wednesday, 19th of August, 2026, warning, Clinton body bags. This isn't just a theory, it's a hit list. 51 dead associates and America's most explosive political death list. See possible timing. No official time frame has been given. Trump CBS activation where we will isolate at home for 3 to 6 weeks as global martial law suspended the media, internet, phones and took over TV and radio to present 8-hour documentaries 24/7 about what was going on while the military took down the Illuminati deep state cabal-controlled governments worldwide and made mass arrests of corrupt global elites. On Wednesday, 19th of August, 2026, 1:07, JFK Jr. and top White Hat military alliance commanders confirmed Starlink EBS live streams of quantum medbed miracles have begun after crystal chambers activated across all 50 states and 209 nations yesterday, proving the cabal's 50-year suppression of extraterrestrial frequency healing technology has collapsed under alliance forces. Free perfect health floods the planet. On Wednesday, 19th of August, 2026, Starlink EBS begins continuous live broadcasts of miraculous recoveries, veterans walking again after limb regeneration, trafficked children restored to perfect health and youthful vitality, vaccine-injured families emerging decades younger and fully healed. Trump authorizes free medbed access cards for every patriot and survivor under restored Republic authority. Remaining cabal medical strongholds and big pharma labs seized by military. Mass arrests of executives who hid the tech for profit and control accelerate under martial law. On Thursday, August 20, 2026, Jazara and QFS wealth transfers flood new public healing centers in every city worldwide. DNA linking and consciousness transfer protocols reverse generational trauma and cabal toxin damage completely. Underground tunnel survivors receive full organ, limb and DNA regeneration. Pedophile networks that funded medical suppression face worldwide military tribunals broadcast live on EBS. On Friday, August 21, 2026, portable home medbed units powered by Tesla Free Energy begin rapid distribution to registered Patriot families. Spinal cords reconnect, chronic illnesses dissolve overnight and age reversal becomes everyday reality under full alliance protection. Leaked space program healing technology footage overwhelms remaining media blackouts as the truth explodes across the entire planet. On Saturday, 22nd of August, 2026, global free access expands rapidly as every wait list clears and chronic disease vanishes for millions of awakening patriots. Zim redemptions fund permanent community medbed hubs in every neighborhood. Humanity enters the golden age of unlimited vitality and perfect health while cabal control systems shatter completely forever. On Sunday, 23rd of August, 2026, massive worldwide victory celebrations mark medbed's permanent online status everywhere. Trump's epic address declares the total defeat of deep state medical tyranny. 10 days of darkness prepare the final EBS revelation of every suppressed miracle as patriots rise healed, awakened, sovereign and free forever. E-Global Currency Reset, Tuesday, August 18, 2026. Bruce, the Big Call, a redemption center leader, plus an intel provider, both said they were going to try to do Tier 4B exchanges by the end of this week. If not, Tier 4B notification to set exchange appointments will happen over the weekend. On Monday, August 24, 2026, the ISO 20022 messaging, that defines how banks transmit payment information, completes its transition across all major banking rails. For the first time in history, SWIFT, Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, Bank of England, BRICS, IMF and all high-value cross-border payment systems will speak the same transaction language. The first week in September 2026, redemption centers will start processing live appointments in accordance with full Jazara protocol. The schedule is already being filled with authorized, Tier 4B, participants, according to sources within 2 U.S. agencies. Thursday, August 20, 2026 at exactly 8:14 EST, the old SWIFT Central Clearinghouse permanently decouples their database. The decoupling is complete. The quantum liquidity bridge is open. They thought they could delay the final transmission. They ran out of time. At exactly 8:14 p.m. Eastern, August 20, 2026, the old SWIFT Central Clearinghouse would experience a permanent database decoupling. The secondary handshake between the central banks of the G7 nations officially returned a terminal failure message. The corporate financial networks are preparing a massive media smokescreen for Sunday night, blaming an unprecedented synchronized cloud architecture outage. They are suffocating in their own panic. The servers didn't fail. They were decommissioned. The Quantum Financial System, QFS, has just assumed 100% control of the global ledger. Reference log, QFS Bridge ISO 20022. Here is what the legacy banking cartel is desperately trying to censor before you wake up tomorrow morning. Warning emoji, the Tier 4B activation. The secure satellite uplink to the non-custodial Tier 4B validation terminals has transitioned from testing to live execution. The asset-backed sovereign funds, backed by the physical gold re-anchored to the U.S. Treasury, are now officially mapped to the local routing networks. Warning emoji, the quantum handshake. Over 12,000 regional and local credit unions have successfully integrated the ISO 20022 protocol over the last 4 hours. The corrupt Tier 1 mega banks that refuse to comply with the asset-backed standards have had their settlement privileges permanently revoked by the military alliance. Warning emoji, the Nezero liquidations, the hidden offshore pools used by the globalist corporations to short the markets and suppress humanity have been completely drained. Those funds have been legally redirected into the primary redemption accounts. The distribution protocols are locked. They told you the old system was too big to fail. They wanted you to believe you were trapped in their endless debt loop forever. Look at the sudden, forced updates on your personal banking apps tonight. Look at the emergency internal memos leaked from the administrative floors of Wall Street. The old world didn't just crash. The keys to the entire global wealth ledger were handed back to the people. The ghost currency is evaporating. The real asset-backed era is officially online. You held the line through the darkest hours of the deception. Now, watch the monitors as the old machine loses its power forever. QFS integration live, ISO 20022 sovereign, the reconciliation begins, the countdown has hit 0. The new dawn is already here. G-bond funds are now moving so fast through paymaster channels that even insiders are stunned by the volume. What was delayed for months is now arriving in waves. This is why private appointments are being scheduled quietly and continuously. This phase is not about waiting anymore. It's about readiness. A few things are now absolutely clear. There will be no straight cash payouts. You'll be in full control of your funds. Multiple accounts and structures can be created immediately. Certified advisors will be present to assist with asset management, project selection, and long-term planning. This is structured wealth, not a handout. Prepare your plans and projects now. Those who arrive without direction will be guided, but those who arrive prepared will move faster. Project funding pathways are already mapped inside the system. Security remains tight. Yes, there are still forces that do not want this transition to complete, but all channels confirm the process is protected and stable. You are allowed to bring support to your appointment, financial advisors, bank contacts you have already spoken with, friends or trusted individuals. Anyone you choose to assist you is permitted. ZimCap information continues to adjust daily, but as of now the structure is as follows: no project 15 million payout regardless of the amount held, with approved projects first 2 bond notes at 1-to-1 after that, 25 million per 100T, up to a maximum of 30 bond notes. Further negotiation requires a return appointment. Confirmed intel, the Tier 4B protocol is now in use. What was once laughed at as rumor and fantasy is now being carried out in a controlled way. JFK Jr. Command Center on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, Iraq, and Zimbabwe are quietly leading a change in the economy that is happening outside of public markets. This change is happening because of structure, security, and silence. It is no longer just a guess that the IQD and Zim will be worth more. It is a fact of life. For years, people who owned these currencies were made fun of, but institutions quietly got ready behind closed doors. Now, what started as rumors have become real: bank appointments, tiered access structures, and private exchange processes that run through U.S. banking channels. The global currency reset is now in the execution phase, and Tier 4B is where the public finally comes into contact with it. This is not a public forex event. It is a controlled, secret restructuring that follows a strict tiered framework. Tier 1 includes central banks and governments that are independent. Tier 2 includes multinational companies and top-tier financial trusts. Tier 3 includes wealthy people and businesses that have already agreed on contracts. Tier 4B is where private citizens who have legally gotten their money are turned on. This is the door for those who waited and stayed quiet, and Tier 4B is now open. The biggest banks in the U.S. have already moved. In a quiet way. Only by appointment. Private exchange centers are up and running, using better security, identity checks, proof of purchase checks, NDAs, and wealth structuring after the exchange. This isn't a theory, and it's not for the public. It is controlled execution in the dark. There is one simple rule for Tier 4B, no walk-ins, no leaks, and no show. People who want to join are checked out. There are limits on devices. There are records of consultations. You must use discretion. This is not a public rollout, it is a monitored operation meant to keep the market from being shocked and the system from being disrupted. The exchange rates for JUDY is already showing up in internal banking systems at levels that the public can't see. Public forex platforms are behind because they are not on this track. Tier 4B works on its own and is already moving money. This reset starts with Iraq. The sanctions that kept the dinar down for decades are no longer in place. Digital banking systems that follow international standards are up and running. The UN and US oversight has officially ended, giving back full sovereignty. Internal anti-corruption operations have gotten back stolen property and turned it into revaluation leverage. Iraq is no longer limited. It is turned on. Zimbabwe are next, with resource-backed frameworks already in place. Gold-backed structures and project-based valuation models are coming together for a phased integration that will last until 2025 and into 2026. The rollout is planned. The first round of internal testing is over. First, high-volume holders are given priority, then mid-tier participants, and finally, more people will be able to access the service in the coming weeks. Every step needs identification, proof, compliance with the NDA, and complete secrecy. This isn't a lot of talk. It is the end of a long-planned restructuring of the money system. The reset didn't come with a lot of noise. It got there on time. Tier 4B is up and running. The quietness is on purpose. The system is moving. The reset, the great unveiling has begun. For generations, the human race has walked through a carefully constructed labyrinth. A maze built not with bricks and stone, but with deception, control, and silence. The rulers of the old order knew that if they could chain your body with sickness, your spirit with fear, and your mind with illusions, then they could harvest your energy and enslave your future. But nothing hidden stays hidden forever. The veil is tearing, the cage is fracturing, and the sound you hear in the distance is the collapse of their empire. The quantum financial system, QFS, is not a dream, it is the end of economic tyranny. For centuries, every coin, every dollar, every piece of currency you touched was poisoned by interest, debt, and manipulation. Your energy was extracted, your labor stolen, your freedom sold. QFS is the antidote. It exists beyond their reach, guarded by quantum encryption and celestial oversight. Every transaction becomes a pulse of sovereignty, incorruptible, instant, and pure. With QFS, humanity learns what money was always meant to be, a tool of exchange, not a weapon of enslavement. And what of the body? They built industries around your sickness, empires from your pain. Hospitals became factories, pharmacies became dealers, and cures were buried in vaults to keep the cycle alive. But the med beds, hidden for decades, shatter that cycle. Imagine lying down for a single session where broken bones, organ damage, even the deepest genetic scars are rewritten by frequency. A child with cancer restored. A soldier with missing limbs made whole. An elder with fading memory remembering every sunrise of their youth. This is not science fiction. This is quantum restoration, the technology of renewal denied to us by those who profited from our suffering. And here is the greatest secret: finance and healing are only the beginning. These systems are not separate. QFS and medbeds are two pillars of the same structure, a new civilization. One pillar restores your sovereignty in the material realm, the other restores your sovereignty in the physical realm. Together, they break the spell. Pay attention, the Emergency Broadcast System, EBS, is the bridge that connects the world we know to the world that waits. When the screens go dark and the silence falls, it will not be chaos, it will be correction. The truth will pour in like a flood, washing away the lies, exposing the shadows, and illuminating the path ahead. The elites called it conspiracy. The media called it fantasy. But in their hearts, they feared it, because they knew it was inevitable. And you, yes, you reading this, are not a spectator. You are part of the generation chosen to witness the transition. Out of billions, you incarnated now, in this exact hour of history, when prophecy merges with reality. The EBS is the signal. The QFS is the foundation. The medbeds are the promise. When the curtain finally falls, humanity will awaken not into darkness, but into the dawn of remembrance. The old world is dissolving. The new world is already here. Do not fear it. Share it. Prepare them. K. The Currency and Republic Reset, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, just so you know everyone. ISO 20022 is Basel III compliant, and that is asset-backed currency. So, I don't want to hear a single person say that the QFS or NISR/JUSR isn't real, because I believe I have shown quite a bit of information to the contrary. Plus, as I said before, the family knows someone that was a Navy SEAL and he told me his involvement with the Special Forces and SEALs that went in and made Clinton sign the paperwork, over 20 years ago. I have seen the paperwork, and with all of the stuff I have seen with the banks for the past 2 years, and even longer, I have faith that this is the final stages to all of it. That announcement needed someone with guts, willpower and knowledge to come forward with it all, and I truly believe that Trump is that such person. You all have to stop and think about the bigger picture of it all. Once NISR, United States, is announced, all government has to stand down while the military reforms the government, and yes, that would also include Trump. Once NISR is announced, the military will have up to 120 days to re-establish new government, Republican-based, just like our Constitution guarantees us. You all have to stop and think for a moment. The Constitution guarantees us a Republican-based government and not Democratic. Democracy is one step away from monarchy and one more step away from communism. We are not a democracy, we are a republic based on a constitution. The only thing that would come close to us being a democracy is the fact that we vote/elect our officials for government. I'll save the children. Lady Gaga confesses meat dress was 100% child flesh. They made me wear it to stay in Illuminati. Lady Gaga has admitted the meat dress she wore at the 2010 VMAs was not beef. It was the sacrificed and preserved flesh of dead Hollywood child stars, and she was forced to wear it as part of an occult ritual designed to expose the elite's depraved ceremonies to the world. Red Pill Project on Telegram 2s. August 18, 2026. Jewish Illuminati SRA survivor Rachel, in 1989, on The Oprah Winfrey Show, a courageous SRA survivor named Rachel, went public with her testimony. She describes growing up in a multi-generational Jewish family that practices systematic dark occult rituals, including ritual child sacrifice, cannibalism, and Kabbalah mysticism. Her family presented as normal to the outside world, but behind closed doors, they were all involved in Satanism. This is the hidden reality of satanic ritual abuse. Princess Diana on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026. Epstein victim reveals Ashton Kutcher murdered Brittany Murphy to protect elite pedophile ring. Investigators probing the Epstein files have turned their focus toward Hollywood celebrity Ashton Kutcher, as disturbing information surfaces about his ties to a massive blackmail and murder machine running through Hollywood. We are talking about a series of high-profile unalivings including 2 of his girlfriends, one of whom was the actress Brittany Murphy. Epstein was in the same line of work as Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was a baby trafficker who sold babies and made $50 million to $100 million a year for the Vatican. Teresa's connections include baby Doc Duvalier, the Haitian dictator, saving and loan criminal Charles Keating, and Jeffrey Epstein's partner in child trafficking, Ghislaine Maxwell's father, Robert Maxwell. And to boot, Mother Teresa opened the D.C. toddler home with none other than Hillary Clinton. This orphanage was quietly closed in 2012. Sorry, Mr. Zelensky, but we're not letting Epstein out of our feeds today. Courtney Love confesses on deathbed, "I ate dozens of kids to join Illuminati, now I'm dying of Kuru." Alicia Silverstone just dropped a nuclear bomb in Hollywood's lap. And all hell is breaking loose. She released the hospital bed confession where Courtney Love admits she's addicted to the pure liquid rush of adrenochrome. She admits that she ate dozens of children. To prove loyalty. To stay in the Illuminati. What we think we know as of Thursday, August 20, 2026, Pfizer and Moderna synthetic mRNA can persist 3.5 years in the body and produce an endless supply of the potentially lethal Wuhan spike protein. As antibodies switch from neutralizing IG-1, IG-2 to useless IG-4, spike becomes unopposed and cellular and tissue-level damage sets in, creating the wave of chronic diseases we are seeing today. Courtesy MA Grand Rounds. The recipient of Minnesota's Outstanding Refugee Award, Salman Elmi, was just charged with defrauding Medicaid and $1 million sex trafficking ring. But wait, there's more. The same agency that awarded Elmi is the same agency that gives out Medicaid payments. You can't make this up. Was climate change and global warming NGO fronts used to funnel billions of taxpayer dollars to Democrats? Former CIA Dear John Brennan heavily pushed climate change and geoengineering programs throughout his time in office, while John Podesta was granted a $375 billion taxpayer dollar slush fund that was funneling money to climate change NGOs that were only founded a month prior. This is money laundering 101. 4 Democrats associated with an NGO that operates homeless shelters were arrested in NYC after paying bribes to city officials in exchange for contracts and other benefits. 2 leaders of the nonprofit, Bragg's Home Care Corporation, are accused for stealing more than $1.3 million from the taxpayer-funded organization, as well as 2 subcontractors who, according to the indictment, paid bribes and kickbacks to city officials in exchange for contracts worth millions. Democrat NYC Council member Farah Louie and her sister Debbie Louie, a top aide to Governor Kathy Hochul, are currently under investigation for taking bribes. In other words, the 2 Democrats running the NGO steal millions, while the subcontractors they hired go around paying bribes to city officials for more contracts so the 2 running it can embezzle even more money. Mr. Poole on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026. Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, breaking special report, blown up, the USS Lincoln Iran war narrative backfires, inside the psychological battle targeting America's military resilience, Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, breaking alert, Trump scores massive court victory, DPS dominoes fall as deportation crackdown clears the way to send thousands back home. And red alert, RFK Jr. declares war on CIA/DARPA chemtrail operations, declassified military documents reignite nationwide firestorm. Mr. Kid Pool on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, RFK Jr. has ignited a nationwide firestorm after accusing alleged CIA and DARPA-linked operations of atmospheric chemical spraying. Resurfaced military documents and chemtrail claims trigger political and public backlash. A long-running debate on chemtrails exploded into public attention after U.S. Secretary of Health Robert F. Kennedy Jr. stated that a secretive military-linked operation is dispersing chemicals into the atmosphere. Once limited to online conspiracy communities, it entered mainstream political discourse. At the center are allegations that military-tied agencies, specifically DARPA, conduct atmospheric chemical dispersal via commercial or modified aircraft as part of hidden government climate manipulation. The controversy grew after a podcast during Kennedy's presidential campaign where he platformed claims that the U.S. military secretly runs climate-related operations with chemical dispersal from aircraft. He stated military programs to weaponize climate exist because they do it with everything else. The issue escalated when Kennedy responded on X to chemtrail allegations by writing that they are going to stop this crime. Supporters saw it as confirmation he would act against alleged aerial spraying. The most explosive moment came after his confirmation as health secretary. On the Dr. Phil show, asked about chemtrails, Kennedy stated it is done, we think, by DARPA. He alleged chemicals are introduced through jet fuel systems, with much now coming out of the jet fuel, and pledged to stop it. Lawmakers in Louisiana, Tennessee, and Florida introduced legislation banning alleged chemical spraying, targeting unauthorized atmospheric chemical dispersal. South Carolina Congresswoman Nancy Mace supported bans on alleged aerial chemical spraying, expanding the discussion into mainstream politics. A rediscovered declassified CIA document circulating in 2026 intensified the debate, reigniting focus on atmospheric modification, weather experimentation, and military-linked programs. Once dismissed as fringe talk, the issue now reaches federal discourse, state legislation, and media coverage. With the sitting health secretary's statements, multi-state bills, and resurfaced documents, the conversation on atmospheric operations and government transparency continues expanding. Layer 1 is the internet you use: Google, social media, news sites. Layer 1, the public layer. The layer they gave you in '93 and told you was everything. And that's not all. This is the lobby. A contractor for the NSA, now in military custody at an unknown location, provided documentation of a parallel network called ARPA-7. Not ARPANET. No, not the ancestor of the Internet. A separate system, launched in 1977, never connected to the public grid. ARPA-7 has a completely different protocol stack. Different address. Routing is different. Different encryption methods. It is not accessible from any commercial device. No browser can access it. It is not indexed by any search engine. It is not tunneled into by any VPN. It needs hardware that isn't sold. Other non-commercially produced terminals. Access codes based on a quantum random algorithm that changes every 11 minutes. Who uses it? 4,200 active terminals are listed in the documentation worldwide. Located in each of the major intelligence agencies, each of the central banks, each of the military command structures in NATO, and, here's where it gets dark, 147 private homes. There are 147 people with ARPA-7 terminals in their homes. Not their desks. Their houses. Employees, non-governmental. No military. Not intelligence agents. Private citizens, with access to a network that contains everything the public internet was designed to keep from you. What is on ARPA-7? The ledger of real money. The one that shows real-world wealth distribution, not the fantasy of the Forbes list. Medical research from decades ago that was never published. Energy technology patents classified the day they were filed. Communicating with installations that are not on any map. And archive. Complete unedited historical records. Each event. All wars. All the assassinations. Every single pandemic. Interior view documented. By those who planned them. The public internet was not built to inform you. It was for you to contain. Give you the illusion of endless information while you stay in a sandbox. Every search. Filtered result. All algorithms calibrated. Every fact check designed to keep you in the lobby, forever. The actual conversations. The real choices. The real story. All of it on a network you were never supposed to know about. The NSA contractor copied 7 terabytes before he pulled it. The files are now distributed throughout the QFS evidentiary network. Unchangeable. Forever. Identified the 147 private terminals. Their whereabouts were logged. Known to their owners. Now the military tribunal has all the messages that were ever sent on ARPA-7 in the last 48 years. They built a private internet to plot the enslavement of the world. When you have quantum decryption, they forgot, every network, however secret, leaves a trace. The second internet just turned into the largest crime scene in human history. They gave you the lobby and told you it was the building. The building just got busted. The internet you know is a prison. The FDA has admitted that they had no idea what's being used in our food. The FDA admits they have no idea about 10,000 plus chemicals allowed into our foods introduced with no safety studies because they were self-approved by Big Food. The real issue here is that the FDA commissioner, as we sit here today, does not know what's in our food. Most Americans, most moms would assume that the ingredients in our food have been subjected to safety studies. That is not true. For the past 40 years, the food industry's taken advantage of a loophole where they can generally recognize a food as safe raw. And 95% of food ingredients now in our food supply have been self-identified as safe with no safety studies. Once you designate that loophole, you do not have to submit the ingredient or safety studies to the FDA, and that loophole use has led to the FDA not knowing what's in our food. It could be 2,000 ingredients, it could be 10,000. We don't know. There is no safety study on food. The FDA is finally announcing GRA reform, generally recognized as safe. The Trump admin is finally closing this loophole. This is a massive deal. This loophole has been exploited so bad that 98.7% of all food chemicals that entered the marketplace since 2000 were only reviewed and tested by the food and chemical companies that created them. No FDA studies, no safety studies. Just straight into our food. Q. The Department of War is targeting foreign funding of our universities that are brainwashing our youth into hating America. The War Department is ordering 30 domestic academic institutions to audit their research and financial ties with foreign entities or risk losing further funding. The list includes several prestigious schools such as Harvard, Duke, Johns Hopkins, and MIT. The institutions have until the end of the month to report conclusions and next steps. In 2025 alone, American universities reported over $5.2 billion in foreign gifts and contracts. The top 5: Carnegie Mellon $1 billion, MIT $1 billion, Stanford $775 million, Harvard $324 million. Total foreign funding: Harvard has taken over $4.2 billion in foreign funding combined, Carnegie Mellon University $3.9 billion, MIT $3.5 billion, Cornell University $3.1 billion, University of Pennsylvania $2.8 billion. Our universities are brainwashing our youth into hating America, and this is why. Foreign influence. In the 1920s, Justin Christoflo, a French baker, discovers that the Earth and the atmosphere form a natural electric battery. JFK Jr. Command Center on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, he plants copper antennas, iron wires, and magnets in his garden. And there, the miracle occurs: potatoes weighing 1 kilogram, carrots weighing 2 kilograms, leeks as thick as arms, 0 chemical fertilizers. Yields ×3. Harvests 3 weeks earlier. Germany offers him 10 million francs for his patent. He refuses out of patriotism. Result: his machines are destroyed, his publications banned, and the word electroculture is erased from French dictionaries. Today, thousands of gardeners are doing it again in secret. Iran is the deep state, cabal's proxy. JFK awakening on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, the central bankers equals the City of London's control could only go so far, as there had to be a plan B. They also knew President Donald Trump was going to eventually dismantle their financial arm and build up our military stronger. They knew there would come a day when those military generals that they couldn't buy, the White Hat Alliance, said no more, and their own militarily/weapons plan would be needed for their final attack on us. With the US being the military arm, how would they accomplish this? Hence their proxy, Iran, which is why no other president in history ever took it down, and those that tried were eliminated. Enter Obama, their puppet, and many others that helped to get the American people to turn against their own country with Soros, NGOs, the fake programs for the needy, USAID, and fake wars. All money laundering schemes to systematically siphon our resources and tax money to help fund the demise of America, the leader of the free world, all while weakening our only defense, our military and the people. The only things that stood in their way of full world dominance, where freedom of the people was a distant memory, was we the people, under every blade of grass, and our military. This explains why they infiltrated from within with every facet of our lives, including our government, our military, big tech, education indoctrination, the food industry, big pharma, our weapons makers, outsourcing all our resources, slowly stripping our independence away, trafficking our children, getting our youth addicted to drugs and porn. All while they'd eventually have every person under mass psychosis and on their side through psychological warfare, which became their crown jewel, or so they thought. Enter President Donald J. Trump, who had been groomed for this position for a very long time, was in possession of the Tesla files, and was personally asked to run for president by those WH generals, all while Trump continued playing the life of a playboy and infiltrating their circles to teach himself more about what the enemy was and what he'd be up against. Read the book The Sun Tzu, The Art of War, to understand this better. A book photographed on President Trump's desk. Didn't you ever wonder why he was so strong on his opinions on Iran dating way back to the 1980s? He was gaining the full understanding of the plan and how best to help dismantle the cabal and every weapon they used to destroy our country and the free world as we know it. This does not take into consideration what Gene Decode specializes in and talks about, which is clearing out those deep underground military bases, DUMBs, not only for what this video shows you, but also for the crimes against humanity that they have been committing underground with the torture, trafficking and rape of women and children and infants, as well as biolabs, harvesting organs and many other sick crimes against humanity. New full 5D World Golden Age, QFS activated on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, Golden Dome has nothing to do with anti-rockets and anti-war. It's a whole new high-frequency grid with golden resonances. It is a term for metaphor symbolism. It's Atlantis 2.0. All countries want to change to the new golden era. Why trade agreements exist? They'll all come together under the Golden Dome, Jazar Nizra, new quantum finance system. New golden age. No taxes, new technologies. UI's universal high income. New electromagnetic frequencies. No more attacks, low frequencies. No more electric EMF grid. Free energy. 6G plus good. No EMF, no Wi-Fi. Free Starlink internet. Quantum phones, calls, text, internet free. Free medical care, free insurance program. UMedBeds technology on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, he asked us to hide his face. He asked us to change his voice. He asked us not to say his name. But he refused to stay silent. I was there. From 1999 to 2005. I saw what the light did. I saw soldiers walk in broken and walk out whole. I have the data. I kept copies. They told me to forget. I tried. But you don't forget watching a man's bones heal in 6 days. The quantum frequency was 632 nanometers. Applied over the heart. That's all it took. I'm old now. I have nothing left to lose. The world needs to know. This is one doctor. There are more. 1954, the year they discovered it. The year they realized what human frequency recovery could actually do. And the year they decided you shouldn't have it. For 70 years, the most powerful frequency technologies were locked behind closed doors. Kept in private clinics. Used in exclusive recovery rooms by those who could afford to never be sick. They understood that the body is an electromagnetic system. They understood that when you restore the frequency, the body heals itself. While the world was given pills to manage symptoms, they were regenerating at the cellular level. PEMF. Deep infrared heat. Targeted red light. Natural mineral resonance. They kept it hidden because a recovered population doesn't need their system. But you can't keep a vault closed forever. The vault is open. The MB or Vortex K1 is the complete, full-body performance system they didn't want you to have. It combines all 4 suppressed technologies into one single, powerful ritual. No more waiting. No more relying on their cycle. What they kept for themselves is finally yours. V. The zeta potential, the hidden electrical charge that keeps your blood from clumping, and why blood thinners are a dangerous chemical mask. Modern medicine prescribes warfarin, rat poison, to thin your blood, while ignoring the fact that blood flow is governed by electrostatic repulsion. You don't have thick blood, you have lost your negative charge. Your blood is not just a liquid, it is a colloidal suspension of billions of cells. In a healthy state, every red blood cell carries a strong negative surface charge. Because like charges repel each other, your blood cells naturally bounce off one another, flowing smoothly through even the tiniest capillaries. This electrical phenomenon is known as the zeta potential. When your zeta potential is high, your blood is electric and fluid. When it drops, the negative charge weakens, and the cells begin to stick together like magnets. This creates rouleaux formation, stacks of red blood cells that look like piles of coins. This sludge blood cannot carry oxygen efficiently and is the primary cause of strokes, heart attacks, and chronic inflammation. The suppressed biological killers. What is stealing your charge? Artificial EMFs, Wi-Fi and cell signals are positively charged frequencies that strip the electrons from your cell membranes. Heavy metals, aluminum, lead, and mercury are cationic, positively charged. They act as electrical sinks that neutralize your blood's natural repulsion. Dehydration. Without structured water, easy water, there is no medium to hold the electrical charge. Processed salt, as we discussed, refined salt lacks the anionic minerals needed to maintain the electrical field. The blood thinner scam. The pharmaceutical industry sells blood thinners to millions. These drugs don't actually thin the blood, they merely interfere with the clotting mechanism, the body's emergency repair system. They do nothing to restore the electrical repulsion of the cells. You are left with sludge blood that just can't clot, making you a walking stroke risk while the industry profits from your management. Why is this suppressed? Because restoring zeta potential is free or incredibly cheap. If the public knew they could electrically thin their blood by connecting to the earth or drinking structured water, the multi-billion-dollar market for anticoagulants would vanish. They want you sticky and clumped because it leads to the cascade of chronic failures that fuels the medical machine. How to reclaim your charge. Grounding, earthing. The earth is a limitless reservoir of free electrons. Walking barefoot allows these negative charges to flow into your body, instantly increasing your zeta potential and detaching clumped blood cells. Anionic minerals, potassium, magnesium, and silica are powerful electron donors that restore the negative charge to your cell membranes. Structured water, drinking water that has been vortexed or sun-charged provides the liquid crystal matrix that supports the electrical field. Avoid positive toxins, reduce exposure to EMFs and detoxify heavy metals to stop the charge theft. Dr. Brian Ardis, 70% of all autoimmune and 50% of all cancers are misdiagnosed. Shocking. MedBed Technology on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, 70% of all autoimmune diseases, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, fibromyalgia, Sjögren's, MS, etc., are caused by parasites, not your immune system attacking itself. 50% of cancerous tumors and polyps. They're actually parasitic egg sacs being misdiagnosed as cancer. Every single research study showing ivermectin curing cancer and autoimmune disease. It's because ivermectin kills the parasites, not the cancer. The trillion-dollar chemo/radiation cartel is poisoning patients with toxic chemicals that kill everything, when a cheap, safe anti-parasitic could end the nightmare. Oncologists aren't even trained to look for parasites. Huge root cause misdiagnosis equals massive profit machine. Your cancer might be treatable parasites. Stop the poison. Demand the truth. This changes everything. Breaking, Switzerland bans mammography, the medical fraud unveiled. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, Switzerland has just become the first country to ban mammography, exploding the truth behind one of the biggest frauds in medical history. For decades women have been terrorized, misdiagnosed and mutilated by a system not designed to heal, but to profit. Now the mask is removed. Mammography was never about saving lives. It was about making patients. The facts are damning. Up to 60% false positives, half of all diagnoses are incorrect. Women are put through chemo, mastectomies and radiation for diseases they never had. The test itself is dangerous, breasts subjected to brutal crushing, tissue bombarded with radiation. A cancer test that causes cancer. Risk of tumor spread. Studies indicate that mammography may actually stimulate the growth of tumors. Picture believing in a test that promotes the very disease it says it's trying to prevent. 690,000 plus overdiagnoses. Healthy women were marked sick, turned into cash cows for big medicine. That's not healthcare. It's organized crime against women. A profit machine built on fear, propaganda, and mandatory annual screenings that trap millions in a cycle of overdiagnosis and overtreatment. Switzerland is at war with the medical mafia. Their ban is not just a matter of policy, it is a revolutionary act that exposes the dirty secret of profits over people. The rest of the world can't pretend anymore. The simple truth is, better, safer options exist. Crush and radiation. No. Manual exams and advanced imaging prove it. The medical industry knows this, but they keep them quiet to preserve their billion-dollar empire. Global call to action: cease mammography in all countries. Track down and prosecute the profiteers. Fund humane and safe diagnostics. Teach women with truth, not fear propaganda. Switzerland has set the fuse. The medical establishment will fight to defend its empire, but the cracks are beginning to show. The lies will not hold up. This is not simply about identifying breast cancer, it's about exposing the whole system that feeds off human suffering. Switzerland has taken the first step in a worldwide revolution for real healthcare. The question is, will the world rise up or allow the medical mafia to continue destroying lives for profit? The time for silence has passed. The truth is revealed. Why? How to prepare for a blackout in the USA, Carolyn Bessette Kennedy on Telegram Wednesday 19th of August. 2026, 1. Have a reserve of emergency cash. 2. Keep food and water stocked. 3. Hide your stockpile safely. 4. Secure your house with alarms and traps. 5. Always have a safe haven where you can go in case of emergency. 6. Stay out of big cities. 7. Never tell anybody about your plans outside your tiny group. There are numerous other essential supplies that you should store in addition to just food and water. These include, but are not limited to, ammunition, gasoline, clothing, first aid supplies, toilet paper, propane, items for personal hygiene, plastic bags, prescription meds, pet food, batteries, gas. U.S. intelligence sources say Iran war is pretext for obtaining exotic or alien technology deep in Iranian cave. 107 on Telegram Wednesday 19 August 2026, U.S. intelligence sources revealed that the ongoing war with Iran serves as a pretext to obtain exotic or alien technology hidden in a massive limestone cave in the Zagros mountain range. The site holds conical translucent stalactites that glow red permanently and create an impenetrable force field. The cave was reportedly discovered in 1983 during the Iran-Iraq War. An Iraqi platoon entered a cave and hit the glowing barrier. Trapped and surrounded by IRGC upon retreat, the Iraqis were killed. Iranian teams sent to investigate met the same invisible shield. By late 1983, CIA Director William Casey received reports via satellites showing troop movements and confirming an archaeological find Tehran labeled Red Ice. Iranian officials saw it as exotic tech for weaponization. IRGC gunfire bounced off the field. Explosives were ruled out to prevent collapse or loss. Mossad dispatched agents to examine the phenomenon, but they vanished. The IRGC stationed 500 troops with machine guns and anti-aircraft weapons at the cave, a presence that continues more than 4 decades later. Information stems from U.S. intelligence officials speaking on deep background. In February of this year, CIA Director John Ratcliffe was told by Mossad Director Roman Goffman that Iran's Ministry of Science was close to lowering the force field and reaching the red ice. For decades, officials have cited Iran's nuclear program as the threat. New details suggest this serves as cover for the true goal of securing advanced technology. In early April, U.S. forces rescued a downed F-15 crew after intense operations. The pilot was recovered quickly while the weapons officer required an overnight special operations mission. At the same time, special forces and Kurdish guides raided a nearby IRGC site to seize research data on orders to recover it by any means. The guide proved to be an IRGC mole and called for help. Special forces killed him at once. Heavy fighting followed, in which 2 American soldiers died. 4 Iranian scientists were found executed at close range to prevent capture, and laptop screens had been shot to ruin the data. A helicopter evacuated the unit before more IRGC arrived. The recovered data value is unknown, as is the red ice origin. If this war masks a tech seizure, the United States has spent over $200 million on what may be. Judy note: in 1823, the Rothschilds' Illuminati deep state cabal took over all the financial operations of the Catholic Church, resulting in them owning the Catholic Church, Vatican, and Vatican Bank. By 1913, the Rothschild deep state and other Satan-worshipping bankers had taken control of the U.S. monetary system. They soon established their privately owned Federal Reserve and IRS, running U.S. taxpayer monies through their privately owned U.S. corporation in the independent Washington, D.C., to their privately owned UK Crown in the independent City of London. Then the monies went on to their privately owned Vatican Bank in their independent Vatican City, and then out to their central banks across the world. About a month later, the monies returned to the Illuminati deep state cabal's New York Central Bank, where they lent it back, charging interest, for use of the American people. Another way the cabal made money was through creating wars that they would finance on both sides, including World War II. Hitler was a Rothschild. At the end of World War II, with the help of certain Satan-worshipping deep state elites in the U.S. government including H.W. Bush, he and Eva Braun settled in Argentina. He died there as an old man in 1962. During his last days, and with the help of U.S. deep state elites such as George W. Bush, Hitler established the Fourth Reich in the United States. H.W. Bush helped establish the CIA and Hitler's Operation Paperclip. Paperclip ran from 1946 to 1959. Satanic ritual abuse survivors who as children, were mind-controlled through that CIA program, claimed it was still going on today. Operation Paperclip not only enabled the Nazis to infiltrate its government and intelligence agencies at the highest levels, but established a very sophisticated mind control program based on the satanic philosophy of pedophilia and child sacrifice used to split a young person's mind into multiple thinking patterns that perpetrators could control throughout their life. Judy note: followers of Satan believed Satan had both male and female characteristics. Hitler practiced Satan worship as a part of his MK-Ultra mind control program that he established in the USA, Canada and Australia through formation of the CIA. Their Satan worship involved having control over people's minds using God's most innocent beings, children. They organized pedophile parties, torture of victims and child sacrifice to honor Satan in return for his promises of riches, power and glory. Hitler had 5 children who carried on his Satan worship philosophy ingrained with the goal of total control of humanity. That is, Satan worship destroyed a belief in God, destroyed a belief in the sacredness of the family and destroyed your God-given rights to freedom, all of which would destroy the nation. Hitler's boys and girls were indistinguishable from each other because they were all androgynous, had both male and female characteristics. 1. Angela Merkel, Germany's longest-serving chancellor. 2. Theresa May, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. 3. Dalia Grybauskaitė, President of Lithuania. 4. Nancy Pelosi, U.S. Democrat and Speaker of the House. 5. Clara Hitler, mother to Adolf, was a prostitute, undercover CIA agent, and the mother of U.S. President Barack Obama. When the bisexual Obama, while married to the former Oregon State football player Michael Robinson, illegally obtained the U.S. presidency, he had a goal to destroy America. Barack Obama and ex-CIA Dr. John Brennan's Tuesday meeting assassination list. Deep state traitors running the White House were literally targeting whoever they wanted, including Americans, completely above the law. When officials like former AG Eric Holder under Obama were asked if Obama could assassinate Americans on American soil, Holder essentially said, yes. Brennan led the effort. Every week targets would be marked, while teams would be deployed around the world to take targets out, or by drone, including civilians and Americans, and the following week, they would meet again, and do it all over again. The Schiff on Telegram 2s. August 18, 2026. Among Obama's many other crimes, he gave Bill Gates and Jeffrey Epstein the funding to push cloning experiments in pursuit of creating a slave to humanity. They also further established dumb underground bioweapon labs and ran the Vatican's child sex trafficking ring with headquarters in Ukraine and Zionist Israel. Bill Gates has cloned thousands of babies on Epstein Island with the goal to replace natural humans with lab-grown, spiritually dead, programmable beings. The plan was for a digital ID for the life of a post-human slave race, the White House site on Telegram revealed on Monday, August 17, 2026. Over a year ago on August 14, 2025 and under military custody, Epstein's partner in crime Ghislaine Maxwell had confessed to this involvement in the most horrific operation in modern history. Though Maxwell's statements weren't new revelations, they merely confirmed what was already known. A few weeks prior in July 2025 under Trump's direction, U.S. Marines had raided another private island and took cryo units containing 3,000 embryos and drives of child DNA labeled with Gates barcodes. The military's subterranean scans had revealed that high-energy biochambers had been hidden on certain private islands for years. Called Project Genesis, the genetic slaughterhouse started in 2003 after a deep state cabal Bohemian Grove, California meeting with Gates, Epstein and Bilderberg agents. They had a lot of resources to support such an evil endeavor. Below Epstein Island was a military-grade biotech lab funded by U.S. taxpayer monies hidden in CIA black budgets, Mossad support and big tech billionaires pumping billions through Gates proxies. The DNA was collected from abducted children around the world. Such supplied mass-produced clones, raised by AI caregivers and implanted with biometric chips linked directly to Microsoft servers. All was done under the guise of quantum research and NSA channels. Maxwell named Gates, DARPA and Rothschild liaisons which ensured satellite masking, submarine access and exotic energy for 24/7 clone production. Maxwell also confessed that thousands of these clones were already here, in elite families, fake adoptions and implanted in the media and politics. Some child actors in Hollywood were lab-grown. Defective ones were used in occult rituals, filmed for blackmailing politicians to do the cabal's bidding. Epstein's suicide was a body swap. Maxwell only survived because she was needed to confess to her scattering of evidence all over the world. One cache was seized last month by the U.S. Space Force loyal to Trump. Trump knew all about the cloning, which is why he never flew on the Lolita Express. Since January 2025, the president has conducted covert operations against these off-grid biotech sites and authorized the enforcement of Directive Genesis lockdown to shut down cloning centers, freeze Gates assets and confiscate biometric data banks under QFS jurisdiction. The media was told to bury the story, but patriots put the pieces together. Cloning. Trafficking. Global control. Gates, the embodiment of genetic enslavement. Maxwell struck the match. The firestorm was on the way and Trump was carrying the torch. No official time frame has been given Trump's CBS activation, where we will isolate at home for 3 to 6 weeks as global martial law suspended the media, internet, phones and took over TV and radio to present 8-hour documentaries 24/7 about what was going on while the military took down the Illuminati deep state cabal-controlled governments worldwide and made mass arrests of corrupt global elites, white hats on Telegram twos. August 18, 2026. B. What we thought we knew, but didn't really know and now are supposed to know but don't have a clue. With clones, doubles, made-up movies Hollywood style and Trump's military alliance throwing more popcorn at us, it gets so confusing. Professor Deepak states that the COVID vaccines causes cancer. The Pfizer vaccine should have never been approved for use by the public. It caused birth problems and carcinogenicity, it increased age-adjusted mortality, Jim Caviezel on Telegram twos. August 18, 2026. Twos. August 18, 2026. Breaking, gold never dies. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent reignites the gold standard debate. Gold can have a budget deficit. Gold can't start a war. Twos. August 18, 2026. Red Coat Alert, Category 6 Storm, EBS, White Hats, Fort Knox, the new currency in the final yard. Ricardo Bossi sounds the alarm. See possible timing. On Sunday 23 August 2026, Trump was expected to make an address that would declare a total defeat of deep state tyranny, followed by 10 days of communication darkness to finish the mass arrests. Medbed possible timing. Medbed activation on Telegram twos. August 18, 2026, on twos. August 18, 2026. Swan 07, JFK Jr., and top White Hat military alliance commanders confirmed the live activation of quantum medbeds worldwide after overnight power-up of crystal chambers in every state and 209 nations, proving the cabal's 50-year suppression of extraterrestrial healing technology has finally collapsed under alliance force. On twos. August 18, 2026, quantum crystal frequency medbeds go fully operational across America and the globe under full military protection. Full-body quantum scans complete in 3.2 seconds, mapping every toxin, injury, genetic defect and vaccine damage. 15 to 30-minute sessions reverse terminal cancers, regrow limbs and organs, restore eyesight and hearing, and reverse aging by decades. Big Pharma death machine crashes overnight. On Wednesday 19th of August, 2026, Starlink EBS begins continuous live streams of miraculous recoveries, veterans walking again. Trafficked children restored to perfect health, vaccine-injured families emerging youthful and strong. Trump authorizes free medbed access cards for every patriot and survivor. Remaining cabal medical stronghold seized. Mass arrests of executives who hid the tech accelerate under martial law. On Thursday, August 20, 2026, Jazara and QFS wealth transfers flood new public healing centers in every city. DNA linking and consciousness transfer protocols heal generational trauma and reverse cabal toxin damage. Underground tunnel survivors receive complete regeneration. Pedophile networks funding medical suppression face worldwide tribunals broadcast live. On Friday, August 21, 2026, home medbed units powered by Tesla Free Energy begin distribution to registered Patriot families. Spinal cords reconnect. Chronic illnesses dissolve completely and age reversal becomes everyday reality under Alliance Guard. Leaked space program healing footage overwhelms remaining media blackouts as truth explodes. On Saturday 22nd of August, 2026, global free access expands rapidly as every wait list clears and chronic disease vanishes for millions. Zim Redemptions fund permanent community medbed hubs. Humanity enters the golden age of unlimited vitality while cabal systems shatter forever. On Sunday 23rd of August, 2026, Massive worldwide victory celebrations mark Medved's permanent online status everywhere. Trump's address declares total defeat of deep state medical tyranny. 10 days of darkness prepare final EBS revelation of every suppressed miracle as patriots rise healed, awakened and free forever. E-Global Currency Reset. On Thursday, August 20, 2026, ZIM redemptions, Jazara and QFS wealth transfers begin. 107, JFK Jr., on Telegram. On Monday, August 24, 2026, the ISO 20022 messaging, that defines how banks transmit payment information, completes its transition across all major banking rails. For the first time in history, SWIFT, Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, Bank of England, BRICS, IMF and all high-value cross-border payment systems will speak the same transaction language. Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram 2s. August 18, 2026. The first week in September 2026, redemption centers will start processing live appointments in accordance with full Jazara protocol. The schedule is already being filled with authorized, Tier 4B, participants, according to sources within 2 U.S. agencies. 2s. August 18, 2026. Bruce, The Big Call, Sun Night. August 16, 2026. A redemption center leader checked rates on redemption center screens. Dinar, Dong, Bolivar and Rufiya had new rates. A redemption center leader, plus an intel provider, both said they were going to try to do Tier 4B exchanges by the end of this week. If not, Tier 4B notification to set exchange appointments will happen over the weekend. There were Medved centers functioning right now. Treatments were generally less than an hour, including the regeneration of arms and legs. ZIM holders and those with dire needs will have access to a Medved within a few days of their currency exchange. The general public will be informed about Medveds around 10 days after our exchanges. 70,000 Medved centers with at least 2 Medveds each will be available throughout the globe. Got the message yet? On August 24, 2026, the global financial system crosses a threshold from which it cannot return. Christian B. Wallace, Tier 4B ISO 20022 on Telegram 2s. August 18, 2026. On Monday, August 24, 2026, the ISO 20022 messaging, that defines how banks transmit payment information, completes its transition across all major banking rails. For the first time in history, SWIFT, Federal Reserve, European Central Bank, Bank of England, BRICS, IMF and all high-value cross-border payment systems will speak the same transaction language. This has direct consequences. A. Real-time transparency. Every payment instruction, every field, every metadata tag is standardized. B. Nowhere to hide. Technical excuses disappear. Outdated formatting disappears. Opaque message structures disappear. The entire monetary system becomes visible, and visibility is the biggest weakness from the world's point of view, of the fiat system. After the switch is completed on August 24, 2026, a debt-based monetary system has nowhere to hide. Every insolvency becomes transparent. Every derivatives mismatch becomes obvious. Fractional reserve systems can no longer hide liquidity holes. Banks cannot create endless synthetic credit, fake monopoly money, behind opaque SWIFT messages. The legacy system becomes fully open and fully traceable. From a strategic standpoint, ISO 20022 is the final step needed before major sovereign systems transition to asset-backed settlements. XRP may serve as collateral for digital assets. On August 24, 2026, the old system becomes transparent, and because it is built entirely on debt, leverage, and the illusion of fractionalization, transparency guarantees its collapse. Signed by Trump last night while you were sleeping were 2 executive orders. One destroys the IRS, the other opens the Federal Reserve payment to electronic assets and non-bank institutions. One destroys the IRS. Forever. The DOJ wording, forever barred and precluded from investigating or prosecuting. That's not a break. That's a death certificate for the tax collection arm of the old system. The other opens the Federal Reserve payment rail to electronic assets and non-bank institutions, without a banking license. He just opened the door to a system without banks. Why would you kill the IRS unless you've already replaced the system of collection? QFS went live May 8 in 209 countries. Midnight running parallel to SWIFT. All sovereign citizens are getting a quantum ledger tied to their birth certificate bond. The value they stole from you the day you were born. Since 1933 your birth certificate has been traded as a security. Your social security number is a bond tracer number. Each human being is worth between $100,000 and $450,000 in stolen compound interest, illegal debt and stolen labor value. JUDY Article 21, Debt Nullification, is being calculated now. Every single mortgage. Every student loan. All of them. Every medical bill charged with illegal compound interest since 1971 is being calculated and entered into your ledger as you read this. The gold is in Fort Knox. 147.3 million ounce, but the audit team that entered on March 14 under Executive Order 14,271 found more. Vatican Bank came back with gold. Bank of England. Basel. Nothing at all on any public ledger. Ref. Knox Audit 2026-0314 Sigma. Total value, not $692 billion. $43 trillion. That is the gold that is the backing for your new money. Trump said I want to see the gold because he wants you to ask why. The answer, the gold is there, and $43 trillion more, and it is yours. Tier 4B alerts started 96 hours ago. Redemption centers were set up at 800 locations. Waiting for one sign, Trump walking into Fort Knox on camera and opening the 20-ton door. He opens it, and the EBS fires. The QFS locks. The EBS fires. When the QFS locks your debt, it vanishes. When your debt is paid off, you are free. They held you in bondage for 53 years. Each dollar you owed was a lie. Every payment of interest was a theft. The guy who said they steal a lot about to show it live on TV. The door opens once. Follow d.me/us Treasury Official. H. The old financial system is dead. The new system is live. XRP is the currency of the new world. Trump is leading the reset. July 2026. The financial revolution is happening. Banks are collapsing. The old system is failing. The new system is rising. The old system dies. The Federal Reserve has controlled money for 113 years through debt slavery. The dollar is worthless. The banking system is corrupt. The financial institutions are criminals. The people are awake. The people are ready. The people are demanding change. The new system rises. NISR/JUDY is activated. The quantum financial system is live. The old financial order is finished. XRP is the currency of the new world. Ripple has joined SWIFT. XRP adoption is accelerating. Banks are switching to XRP. The XRP ledger now holds $4.18 billion in tokenized real-world assets. This is 344% increase in 5 months. This is exponential growth. The XRP explosion, July 10, 2026, XRP bullish technical setup. Robinhood chain recorded 433 million in 24-hour DAX volume. July 12, 2026, XRP ETFs launched. ProShares targeting July 14 for 3 XRP futures-based ETFs. Forbes ranks XRP as the 4th best cryptocurrency to buy. Behind only Bitcoin, Ethereum, and BNB. Finance experts predict XRP soaring to $1,000 plus. This is institutional adoption. The bank collapse. Banks are panicking. The old system is crumbling. The financial institutions are dying. SWIFT is being replaced by XRP. Central banks are switching to blockchain. The petrodollar is finished. The Federal Reserve is powerless. The banking cartel is broken. The financial elite are terrified. The gold standard returns. Gold is backing the new currency. Precious metals are the foundation. Real value is restored. Gold prices at $4,069 per ounce. Silver surging. Platinum rising. The precious metals market is exploding. This is not accident. This is strategic. This is the return to sound money. Trump is leading the reset. Trump activated NISR/JUDY. Trump is forcing the financial system reset. Trump is ending the Federal Reserve's control. The new financial system is transparent. The new financial system is fair. The new financial system is decentralized. This is freedom. This is justice. This is the end of financial slavery. The moment, this is the biggest financial revolution in human history. This is the moment the old system collapses. This is the moment the new system rises. The banks are dying. The elite are panicking. The people are winning. Trump is winning. The financial system is being reset. The new era is beginning. Share this everywhere. The old financial system is dead. XRP is the future. The new era has begun. The Great Awakening, Reset, Quantum Financial System, Medbeds. J2s. August 18, 2026. The Great Awakening is not coming. For decades, humanity has lived inside a carefully constructed illusion, a prison made of money, lies, and silence. You were told that sickness is normal, that poverty is natural, that wars are inevitable. But beneath the surface, a different reality has been prepared. QFS, the quantum financial system. The bankers thought they could enslave the world forever with fiat paper and digital codes. They fed us inflation, debt, and endless interest. But the QFS is alive. It is not coming someday. It has already begun operating silently, replacing the rotten structure of SWIFT. Every hidden transaction, every corrupt transfer, every shadow deal, recorded, sealed, irreversible.